So good morning, Sara. Lovely to see you. Just tell me a little bit about what you do in the NHS and where you're based.
Morning, Debbie. Yeah, I am a community specialist practitioner, otherwise known as a district nurse, which I've been for 22 years. For the last 11 years, I've been working in Oldham Community Services. Since April, I've been appointed a clinical lead for the Stitch team, and the Stitch is a very unique team in Oldham that we put together to support care homes. So it's the acronym STITCH is for supporting treatment in care homes, and that was a direct response to the outbreaks of COVID-19 in our homes.
Okay, so what's it been like for you this year with COVID and everything that's been happening?
I'm nearly 30 years in nursing now, and all I can say is what I've seen this year will stay with me for the rest of my life. To see what this disease does to people, how quickly they deteriorate, and with very little or no treatment options for people. We've no antivirals that work against it, and we've still currently no vaccine. And once it starts to spread, it just spreads and spreads and spreads. There's nothing we can do to stop it, regardless of what we put in place.
And how's it compared to, say, previous years? You've dealt with flu. We certainly haven't had a flu pandemic for decades, but how has it been? How's it different from something like that?
I mean, for me, really, I can compare to the swine flu, which was 2009. So we had the swine. We had the outbreak around the same time, sort of March, April, but we were vaccinated in November. We were actually vaccinated against swine flu in November. Now, where we saw people become very poorly with swine flu, we didn't see them die like this.
Yeah.
And the point is that once they contract the disease, although we can put conservative treatment measures in place, it is really difficult to actually stop them deteriorating. And the speed in these patients deteriorate and die is really, really scary. And I've seen temperatures in adults that I've never seen before, to the point where they're having seizures.
Oh gosh.
Which we don't see. We see it in children, but we don't see it in adults. And a set of symptoms that I have never come across before, and that between us and our general practitioner colleagues, we've really struggled to manage these patients to even keep them comfortable.
Yeah.
That tied in with care homes with the fact that the patients haven't seen the relatives for some months because of the restrictions, the need to reduce the footfall. It truly is heartbreaking. And the staff in the homes as well, who have looked after these patients and residents for a number of years, it's just heartbreaking, because it's like family. They're losing family, and all we can do is support them, keep them comfortable. And we're in this job to preserve and save lives, and it is so frustrating that we're now in a position with this virus that we can't do that.
So what would you say to those people that say this is just a mild disease? It doesn't, yes, it affects older people, but it doesn't really affect younger people. And it's not that serious a disease, in which unfortunately I have had emails of that ilk.
Absolutely not. I mean, in addition to where we've got obviously patients and the elderly and the vulnerable contracting COVID, we've also seen this in our own workforce within district nursing and in adult social care. We've seen it in certainly the care staff that work in the care homes, and some of those staff have been off 6 and 7 weeks because they get the virus. And unfortunately, what happens once the virus is no longer active around 14 days, they're getting secondary symptoms now. Problems with the lungs, problems with the memory, fatigue, where they're so tired that they can't function as they usually do. If we get a dose of flu, so a lot of people get flu, you generally poorly for up to 2 weeks, but you don't get any post-flu symptoms. You generally recover really, really well. We don't see this with COVID. People are getting long-standing problems with it. Our neuro rehab team have got a team focused on just trying to support these people post-COVID, because we're seeing these problems and conditions developing months and months later, and we still don't know enough about this virus. I think that's the scary part. We're learning about it all the time.
So it's now beginning December, 3rd of December.
Yeah.
We're just come out of national lockdown, second national lockdown, and understandably many people are very concerned about what it's doing to their businesses. People who had have lost their jobs. What would you say to them, as I say, as we in the run up to Christmas, about what you'd be advising them to do?
Debbie, there's nothing I'd like more than to have a party with my friends and colleagues and go to a pub, to my local pub, and spend some time with the people that the businesses, support the businesses that are here, and spend time with the people that I haven't seen since March. Unfortunately, I really do empathise with all the business owners, with people who've lost their jobs. But we can replace those jobs, we can build those businesses back up. We cannot replace lives, and this disease is killing people, and the more we mix and the more we let down our guard, it will spread. And where we think it doesn't affect us directly, it's who we pass it on to. I'm really conscious I don't see anybody outside of my family, because I'm coming into work and I'm going into care homes seeing vulnerable patients. And it is more dangerous because in the younger and the fit, they don't initially get a lot of symptoms, so they would not be aware that they've got COVID, but they're carrying it and potentially passing it on to those who are extremely vulnerable, and this disease is killing them, and it's still killing them.
Sarah, thank you so much, and thank you for sparing the time to come and share your experience, but also with that Christmas message, really, to keep your families safe and to do the right thing. Hopefully in 2021 we'll see the worst of this over, but it does need everybody to be sensible over Christmas, doesn't it?
It does. The vaccine's here. You know, we've got the first one. The second one, I believe, is not far. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Oldham is doing. I'm currently tomorrow. I'm training 22 CCG nurses to support that campaign. You know, so with a system-wide response on getting everybody in Oldham vaccinated very quickly, you know, so we really are on it in Oldham. So let's hope we can beat this disease in the new year.
Absolutely. Can I say a big thank you again, and wish you the very best for Christmas, the limited Christmas we're going to have, and all the very best to you for next year. Keep in touch.